Alright fellas, here we are back at Pokemon Masters, and here we are, we got ourselves Suit Nemona and Screamtail, the sync pair that is releasing as the pre-anniversary bait, I guess you could say. You know, the main sync pair around the run-up to the anniversary. Let's go! We got her pretty quickly. As you'll have seen if you watch the summon videos, go watch that very fun video, self-promoting on my own channel. Yes, that's what we should do. Anyway, so Suit Nemona here, we're going to be looking here at 1 out of 5 6-star EX. We do not have the EX roll unlocked, of course. I will be, hopefully, later today, is what I'm planning. I will put out a showcase for her at 3 out of 5 6-star EX with the Sprint EX roll unlocked. I've got quite a few plans for how I want to showcase Nemona here. I have not done the footage yet. I'm kind of bent on time, so I'm trying to record the audio bits that I can first before I get the footage done, and all that stuff, kind of rushing here. But anyway, so we're going to be looking at Suit Nemona here, mostly at the Champion Stadium. I do plan to put her against her Extreme Battle event, because that is basically like, it's basically like a Fairy Stadium battle, but just harder, so, you know, that's going to kind of replace the necessity there. We're also going to look at her probably with Paldea characters, Penny, I think, and Gita as a good mixture. Then we're going to look at her definitely on a Sun maxing team, where we're going to be putting her with characters that are benefiting under Sun that are not directly fire types. Currently planning Signicidus Rolla and Signicidus Erica. And then after that, we'll find out. I'm not too sure. I'm not 100% sure on what I'll do for, like, a final battle or anything. I've got at least three battles planned. I want to do 4, but we'll see. So, yeah, that's what I've got planned out. Nemona here is a very solid striker. She's got herself a pretty decent AoE damaging move with Ferocious Play Rough, which debuffs enemy attack and defense. It can never miss, and it is not lowered in power when there are multiple targets. Very, very solid, right? Her whole benefit thing is with physical moves next, buffing because of Sun and booster energy. So that is her whole gimmick. Tons of physical moves next for her. Just decimate the enemy and all that stuff. Very, very fun. So, without looking too much else into her abilities right now, I'll probably go more in depth into her abilities later on. Let's go ahead and hop into the showcase. I hope you all enjoy. Alright, and here we are against Annabelle's Extreme Battle, which is, of course, for Nemona. This stage has, like, over 100,000 health, I am quite certain. So, yeah, it was a little bit tough for Nemona to handle. So, yeah, anyway. This was pretty much just a big showing of what Nemona can do in what is effectively, like, an ultimate battle type of setting for, like, Fairy Week, I guess. Obviously, that's pretty much what extreme battles kind of are, is that they're like lesser ultimate battles, and obviously they're not permanent, they got boosts, you know, yada yada, but for the most part, that's about what they're at. They're very restricted in what you can actually utilize, so having Nemona here, of course, being the character is going to make it a lot easier to actually beat. And I don't even know how you could really do this without, like, you definitely could off-type it with a high-powered physical attacker, but a lot of the fairy attackers are special, other than like New Year's Lycia, right? So having to deal with that's annoying because they've got wise entry times 3. So good luck for anyone trying to beat this battle without Nemona. Anyway, so I was able to do it with Sycamore and Volib. Of course, Volib is here for the debuffs, the Sinnoh Circle, and the Fairy Zone. We use Sycamore Sync move for the support EX. Here's what Nemona looks like here with no Sun up, of course, on her DPS. I mean, 10,000 damage AoE, that's pretty decent. You know, with only 3 defense debuffs, no Circle active or anything like that, and no multipliers, of course, at 1 out of 5. So, could be better, could be worse, 100%. But hey, I think Nemona is mostly a character that is really based around buffing her physical moves next in bursts and doing just big burst damage. Obviously, any physical attacker is going to benefit a lot from having physical moves next buffs, but Nemona is mostly tailored around it because of the fact that she's able to get +2 physical moves next every time she uses booster energy on top of the +1 that it gives naturally, so +3, right? As well as give herself +2 when Sun is set by herself or an ally. So they're really trying to make you build her around a team where you can get a lot of, you know, like a Sun setter of like Signicidus Morty or Signicidus Arolla, or of course another, you know, damage dealer like Signicidus Erica, maybe Datamine, whoever, and just buff her physical moves next a ton on those same type of setups. That's mostly the idea I kind of got from looking at how Nemona kind of works, I guess, is she really does a lot of burst damage mostly, not really too much. Her consistent DPS is fine, right? Like, if you want to just keep using Ferocious Play Rough, like, of course you could do that realistically in a, like, ultimate battle type of setting. You're pretty much forced to, frankly. But that it's mostly trying to deal burst damage with her is what they're really going for, because again, like plus 10 physical moves next right there, like look at that, we did 70,000 damage to the middle, and this is what I'm saying, they've got like 150,000 health. I haven't actually looked up the stage's info, but good god, they've got so much health. This stage is going to be very difficult without actually having Nemona, or at least another physical fairy damage dealer that's not like friggin' Mina or something, right? But whatever, I digress. I'm actually looking at the stage information right now to see how much health they actually have, because good night, that's a lot. Yeah, Annabelle's got 170,000. Did not know that, but whatever, it's fine. So she works, of course, well with Volo because he's able to debuff defenses. He's able to apply the Center Circle in the Fairy Zone. That's mostly it. Of course, again, the physical moves next buffs, right? Every time he uses his buddy move, he gives Nemona physical moves next. Every time he uses the Center Circle, he gets physical moves next. Just kind of helps out with that whole burst damage type of thing that she's able to do. I'd say that if you're going to go like very free to play with it, her better, I'm not gonna say better partners, but like a setup that kind of works around that is probably like Signature Erica and Phoebe. Phoebe for direct physical moves next buffs, and Erica for setting sun, right? That will of course give Nemona a ton of physical moves next from that. So if you're trying to really just build around giving her as much of that as possible, that could be how you do it. But of course, it'd probably just be better to run her under like Fairy Zone, Fairy Rebuff. But of course, it's not really free to play, other than Egg Sylveon, who at that point literally just run Signature Erica. You're going to get probably better damage increase anyway, just because Erica's a far better unit. But whatever. Anyway, so that was pretty much the battle versus Annabelle. Obviously a decent enough showing of her on-type damage at 1 out of 5, I guess, because again, 173,000 health, that's basically a miniature ultimate battle. So hey, we'll take it. Whatever, let's go ahead and have some stadium battles, have some fun with Nemona, and see what she's like in a few different team compositions. So I actually did end up figuring out what I wanted to do for Nemona's 4th battle, and it was a blitz of Fairy Week Cynthia. Yeah, when I said that like her fairy damage is so good you don't really need to look at her like on type, of course, I meant that, but I also wanted to look at it when it was funny, because I gave Cynthia, I think, like plus 8 HP and plus 6 on the maximum HP, right? Both of those tiles, I'm pretty sure I gave it to her. So I was just gonna see, how does she benefit under Costume Steven, right? Because again, as I've said a lot, her big thing is physical moves next, ramping as fast as possible, and doing big damage with that. 18,000 damage, not too shabby for the first sync, right? Without any debuffs or anything like that. Here we are with, how many physical moves next is this gonna be? That's plus 8 physical moves next. We still got the Paldea Circle and the Sun up as well, because again, she does set Paldea Circle. 53,000, love that. She does set the Paldea Physical Circle whenever she sets Sun, so you will be able to, of course, get an extra damage increase on top of having her Master Passive with that. That is nice. So she buffs her physical moves next, she's able to apply Paldea Circle, she's got herself the Master Passive. So despite having a quote-unquote low offensive stat, it's not really that low, it's about average, if anything, especially for a lot of Master Passes, like Champion Red's got 330, or a special attack or something like that, at around minimum investment, but whatever. So, hey, yeah. Ton of physical moves next, tons of way to enhance her damage, and that is some very good burst damage. Again, that's what she's going for. What better way to show burst damage than just 2-tap in a stage, basically. Gotta love that. Here we are for Paldea, quote-unquote, Paldea maxing. So this is with a 1 out of 5 Gita grid. I want that to be known. So this can be done, sorry, not 1 out of 5 Gita grid, it's a 0 grid Gita. So the stat difference that I have from being 3 out of 5 can easily be made up by just investing in her 1 out of 5 grid. I just wanted to make that clear. I also have not gridded Nemona at all in this, so keep that in mind. I do have a little bit of skill gear, but it's not really that big. It's just stats, that's it. So keep that in mind. And also you can kind of make up the difference by using characters who actually have related skill feathers. But whatever. It's fine. So this setup's not too bad. Of course, Penny gives Fairy rebuff. This is one way that Penny's able to actually work pretty well with Nemona. I'd say that's probably about the only way. Of course, Penny's got decent sustainability and whatnot for herself and the team with special defense buffs as well. But she doesn't have any like physical defensive buffs, physical enhancement with physical moves next or anything like that. So the rebuff is pretty much all you're really working with. On top of course, being a Paldea character, right? So she's going to be applying to the circle and both master passes of Gita and Nemona. Which is why we're actually taking so little damage here. Because we've got the Paldea Pride Master Passive, Paldea Flag Bearer Master Passive, and the physical Paldea Circle. So even these Earthquakes from Bertha are not hitting hard at all, despite this being a max strength stage, which is hilarious, honestly. So this is, and this is also pretty much like, not max damage, right? Of course, you can give her Fairy Zone instead of this, but plus 10 physical moves next, Paldea Circle, Sun's Up. Again, you could do Fairy Zone instead of Poison Zone, but just for the setup is what I did. 23,000 damage. Not too bad. With Support EX, of course, right? For a 1 out of 5 damage dealer, that's definitely not too shabby. She could definitely clear pretty well. And again, that burst damage, it's just further solidifying that burst damage is what she's pretty much built around. Nemona's got pretty good synergy with Gita. They've got the defensive debuffs, they got the master passives that benefit each other directly, and of course, Nemona is able to apply the circle that is basically double the master passive. And then Penny again, fairy rebuff and also applying to the master passive. So Paldea maxing plus pretty good synergy. We love to see it. Very, very nice. Alright, and the final setup is Sun Maxing, as I said earlier, where we're going to be using Nemona alongside Sunsetters to enhance our physical moves next a ton, alongside, of course, having our Nuker with Signature Erica. Could, of course, be replaced for Datamine for a lot more of an effective, I guess, Nuker, right? That's the point. Anyway, whatever. So, half HP, half MP. This just goes to show that you don't need a lot of MP to really ramp up Nemona's physical moves next as fast as possible. She's got she's got herself the instance of Sunny Day and the booster energy. You got yourself the Sun Setting with Acerola, and of course Acerola gives physical moves next every time the team sets a field effect. So, we're doing pretty good for ourselves in terms of enhancement, so to speak. Already got +7 on Nemona. Leafeon does, half the enemy's health, again, without having anything, right? No sync buffs or anything, no defense debuffs. Gotta love that. I only made Leafeon do that one attack because of the endurance. If there was no endurance, I would not have been worried about it, so, but it's fine, whatever. Nemona here doing about 10,000 damage with max physical moves next, but of course no fairy rebuff, no fairy zone. She does have the Paldea Circle up, of course, but still not too bad for a character that has no direct enhancement other than physical moves next at this point, and of course support EX too, right? But that's the point of this setup, is that like you don't really need to have her directly be enhanced by fairy zone or circle, other than what she already has, of course, or maxing her master passive, anything like that. You pretty much just are worrying about buffing physical moves next, and that is the fun part about this battle. If I was smart, I would have gone for Sunny Day instead of Solar Blade there, because I wanted to end off with Erica's Nuke, which I still do anyway, but that was just a minor misplay on my part. And I guess that was pretty much what you could see from Nemona without having any sort of real enhancement. No physical moves next buffs, no fairy zone, very few defensive debuffs, well, I guess 3 still. That's still, whatever. The way Nemona's built, physical moves next ramping is pretty much how you want to build around her. I'd say building around her any other way is mostly going to be counterintuitive. Of course, building around a fairy zone setter, like, I don't know, there's Signature Wally, there's Signature Mina, I guess How, any character that can really set fairy zone or whatever, they're going to be a good partner for Nemona. Probably Wally most especially because of the sync countdown and other utility aside from actually having a good nuke in setting fairy zone and whatnot, also the rebuff too, but that support would probably want to be more dedicated towards buffing Nemona's physical moves next. Like again, Signature Acerola I think is really good for that role. I probably would have done something with Signature Wally had I actually owned the character, or at least for the 3 out of 5 showcase I would, but again, don't have that, so it's mostly what I'm stuck with. Anyway, that was the 1 out of 5 6-star EX Nemona showcase. Not too shabby of a character, man. She really builds around those physical moves next buffs very, very well with her AoE damage not being split. That definitely helps her out quite a lot. I would say my only issue, really, is that she doesn't synergize too well with the Fairy Zone setters. Again, as stated, Mina is not really an amazing support for her. She's fine, right? She still does decently well, but being a good general support that she is for sustainability, but not really any direct buffing to Nemona outside of that fairy zone. No fairy rebuff, no physical moves next buffs, no defensive debuffs, nothing like that, right? Signature Wally mostly in the same boat, but at least he does apply the fairy rebuff and has sync acceleration, so there is that. And any other fairy zone setter that I can immediately think of is about the same thing. Volo too. Volo I think does the best at enhancing Nemona, but Volo in himself is a unit that is, I guess, quote, his own set of issues, so whatever. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the Nemona showcase. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below at 1 out of 5 6-star EX. I will try my best to get the 3 out of 5 6-star EX showcase out later today. If not later today, then I will probably try and target it for tomorrow, just so I can have something out. So, yeah. I'll see you all later. I hope you all enjoyed.